when things change, you're constant. My name is Nadine Mosallam. I'm the founder and designer behind Nadine Mos. As a kid, I was a very bubbly, happy, curly child, very dreamy, also had an incredibly rosy outlook into life. My grandmother, Amal, she was my biggest influence and drive in what I do. She always saw my gift since my childhood. My grandmother used to use the term agiba, which means extraordinary or strange. She said I always drew such strange and marvelous things in her eyes. And that's really where it comes from for me. It's my grandma seeing me. My brand started in a very dark time for me. During the pandemic, it was a time where I was very isolated from my process and what I do and everything I knew. And while I started making clothing, it was a sense of relief. My uncle says something like, you keep doing something enough, people are gonna have no choice but to want you. He said this to me when I almost quit many times. Focus on being the best at what you do, they'll have no choice but to choose you. I have a writer that I love, Fran Lebowitz. She says that there's no such thing as peace of mind. And so this is a constant battle I have every day. But to know who you are is the best thing you can have. It's the whole puzzle. My process is very intuitive. It's based on picking fabrics, colors, moods, watching a film that would have influenced me. And it's very much me being a designer who has the process of an artist. It just happens and I put it out. When I think of freedom, it's a very interesting topic because I come from a Middle Eastern background. I come from a conservative upbringing, and freedom has evolved over the times. For me, at first it would have been like freedom of cutting my hair the way I want to, freedom of wearing whatever I wanted to, and then it evolved into freedom of movement, which is a big one today, is considering where the world is at. And then freedom of existing and freedom of not being caged to what your background or upbringing is, which I've been subjected to that a million times. And then freedom today to me is probably the freedom of the mind and to think as you wish to think. My mission started with making women feel great and rediscover themselves. Now it's about an expansion of that. It's a mission that I call Nadine Mos to the world. It's like, okay, what's yourself, and now how do you just magnify this feeling? And I'm trying to really share that. It's about a feeling. I dreamt of this 5 years ago, and it took me 5 years for it to look like what I dreamt. And maybe that's why it's making sense. I feel at ease.